Don't you dare. Blink? Could you at least close the door? Please? Heyo, Lemon here. Siblings. The only people whom you love more than anything, but you wouldn't mind murdering them. Those of you who are only children, words to the wise, enjoy it. Now, I love my brothers. I'm in the middle of 3. Blink is the oldest and the gamer of the family. Dad Jr. is the jock and the baby of the family. And he knows it. Growing up with siblings is like an adventure, especially when it's playtime. Now, I grew up an early 2000s baby, so our ideas of playing weren't this Fortnite and such. Oh, no. We used our imaginations. The games my brothers and I created were interesting too, because it didn't take much to stimulate us. We could sit in front of a fan and watch it turn all day if we could. When Dad Jr. was about 4, Blink and I made this game called Who's Under That Blanket? The gist of it was to take a stuffed animal or pillow, have one person turn away from the other 2, and hide the object under a blanket, and then hide yourselves under 2 more blankets. Have the person who was turned away try and find the other people. If the seeker guessed wrong and found the object before the other 2, then those 2 win. But if the seeker finds the 2 people without any help, then they won. The trick was to stay very still. Another thing we would do was tickle fights. It's fun because we are all ticklish. Thanks, Mom. Now, tickle fights would happen at any time to keep things interesting. The rule was that if somebody said tickle, that gave the cue to attack the other person. The only way to stop it was to say a secret code saying you surrendered if you couldn't fight back. One time we were just hanging out in my parents' room and Blink ended up saying tickle, so Dad Jr. and I just had to do what we had to do. Now for context, Dad Jr. and I are smaller and still are in both height and body shape compared to Blink, but we overpowered him. To the point where when he started to say the secret word, his face was blue. I'm not kidding, his face was blue. When we stopped, he started making this weird noise and he couldn't breathe. To the point where our mom was actually very concerned. When he sees this, he probably won't even remember, but it was funny. Hi, brother. Now, when my brothers and I fight, we fight about everything. And I mean everything. We fight so much it doesn't even feel like fighting unless hands are being thrown and voices are being raised. Those skits that I throw in here are actually true. Blink actually does that. I can just be sitting in my room reading or drawing or whatever, and Blink will just come into my room, just stand there and stare at me for a little bit, and then just walk over to my dresser, just stare me dead in the eye, and he'll throw everything off of it, and then he'll just walk away. He won't even close the door. Even if I ask him to. And it's so annoying. And yes, there are incidents where we have fought about math problems. I am not joking right now. We don't like math, but we will argue about how it's supposed to be solved. And my mom has just sat there and just stared at us baffled because we will literally argue about anything to the point where it's just normality in my house. My dad would literally yell from across the room to just shut up, and I love my brothers. I love them so much. Even though we bicker and sometimes I wish I was an only child, I wouldn't ask for anyone else's siblings. No one could replace them. I have a lot of memories of these 2 to share along with the rest of my family. So the lesson is, sibling arguments are just everyday conversations. Until next time, hope you enjoyed hearing about my personal life. Stay crispy, my little lemons. Lemon out.